Good morning everyone, myself Tushar Kumar and I am here to explain about white box testing. So basically if you have created a software, like just imagine you have created a code, okay, and you want to check that it's correct. Like you want to check that each and every internal part of the code is correct. So what type of testing will you choose? Black box or white box? Definitely white box testing, because it's the test that helps you ensure that all the internal parts of the code are working properly. So let's go ahead and have a look how it works. So yeah, you can see that I have opened a PPT showing white box testing. So what's the goal? The goal for a white box testing is to ensure that the all internal components of a program are working properly. As I said, it ensures that each and every part of the code that you have written for a particular software is working properly. Test cases can be designed to reach every branch in the code and to exercise each condition. So here the test cases means you'll be giving an input, okay. If you give an input, it follows a particular path and it gives the respective output. So you'll have to run number of test cases, like you will have to give number of inputs so that it will be following all the all the possibilities that will be existing in the code that you have written, so that it will give all the respective outputs. And if you want the code to run a particular path, then you'll have to give a particular input so that it runs into that particular path and gives you the particular output. So that's how you can run a test case, typically done during unit testing. So it's also known as structural testing or glass box testing, clear box testing, white box testing, all are same. So yeah, objectives of white box testing. What is the basic objective of the white box testing is to focus on the internal program structure and discover all internal program errors. So white box testing, it makes you ensure that there is no error in the code, and if it has errors, it will try to bring it out. So if you run a code using white box testing, it ensures that you won't be missing any of the part in the code. So it also guarantees that all the statements have been exercised at least once, or all independent paths have been exercised at least once. It even exercises all logical decisions on the true and false sides. When you're like if you're giving a boolean value in a code, like for example, if it's true or false, you'll be having two different paths, okay. And if you're giving a statement like if and else, right, even there you'll be finding two different paths. One is if and the other one is else. So we'll have to make sure that you'll be running both the loops, or both the paths, and you'll be getting the outputs that you desire from that path, okay. And it even executes all loops at their boundaries and within operational bounds. White box testing. So here you can see that they have given a diagram showing test data, tests, component code, derives test data and test output. Here how it works is, when you run the tests on a component code, it derives a test data, okay, and you will be running these tests on and on until you get the test outputs that you desire. This is how a white box testing works. And moving on, these are the types of white box testing that you can use: statement coverage, branch coverage, path coverage, condition coverage, multiple condition coverage, decision coverage, mutation testing, and data flow coverage. But for now we'll be focusing only on statement coverage and branch coverage. Statement coverage. So what basically is statement coverage? In a code you'll be having a various number of statements in a single path, right? So what it does is, it executes in such a way that every statement in a code is executed at least once. So if you're considering a path, just consider you have given a true and false, true and false conditions, and you're following the path true. Now the statement coverage ensures that each and every statement that exists in this path called true is executed at least once, or is exercised at least once. What is the criterion? All statements must be covered during text execution, and it also finds path that covers all the statements, and we have to choose input data that results in the selected path. Okay, like we'll have to give an input correctly so that it goes through that particular path that you desire and it gives the output accordingly. And it's also known as node coverage, line coverage, segment coverage, and basic block coverage. There are various names for the same thing, and it often is called as low probability code. Why? Because this is the weakest form of coverage. Like there are possibilities that some branches may be missed. Like it's not branch coverage, it's a statement coverage, which means you will be covering the statements in a particular in a particular branch. So you will not be covering all the branches, you will be covering only a single branch and all the statements inside that single branch. If your code has branches, then we cannot ensure that you will be getting 100% statement coverage. Yeah, moving on, here they have given an example and let's see what it says. Here you can see there are given, input read P and read Q, and they have given a condition over here which splits, that's the thing which splits. If you have given a condition, there you're gonna know that the ways split into two. P plus Q is greater than 10. If it's a yes, then it prints large. And there ends the first condition. And moving on, you have a second condition over here which says P is greater than 50. If it's true, then it prints P large. Otherwise, it takes the other path. Now, let's see what's going on over here. To calculate statement coverage, we should find out the shortest number of paths following in which all the nodes might be covered. Here, by traversing through path 1A, 2C, 3D, E, 4G, 5H, all the nodes are covered. So let me show you. Here you can see here are the nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now the path that they have shown over here 1A, 2C, 3D, E, 4G, 5H is 1A, 2C, 3D, E, 4G and 5H. So by traveling through only this one path that covers all the nodes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, we can say that the statement coverage is 1. Why? Because since this other path over here, you can see, like if it's a no, then you can't see any node over here. Like if there was a condition like print false or something, then that might have been considered as a node and we couldn't have get 100% statement coverage. But since there is no node over here, we can consider that we have got 100% statement coverage, which means, the statement coverage in this case is 1. So here you can see there's another example over here, which is shown like, there are how many nodes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And here they have took two test cases. Let's see what are those. 1, 2 and exit. 1, 2 and exit. The code executes over here. It doesn't go further. Okay. And test case 2. Here what happened is it took this path 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and it came back to 2. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and again it came back to 2 and then it exit. So we'll see over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, it came back to 2 again. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, it came back to 2 again and exit. So what's wrong over here? Yeah, we can see that it did cover, all of these 7 nodes, but it missed one node. What is it? Node 6. It never covered the node 6. Here they have specified over here. Problem is that node 6 is never executed, which means we won't be getting 100% statement coverage. Why? Because it didn't cover all of the nodes that are existing in the code. Yeah, moving on. Here there is another example. Here you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so here there are 7 nodes and you can see that they have followed the path 1, 3, 4, 5 and 7. So here there's a formula that you can see. Percentage of executable statements exercised by a test suite is, so this is a formula which is used to calculate the the statement coverage. How much percent is it successful? So number of statements that you have exercised by total number of statements that are existing in the code into 100. They have also given an example saying that if a program has 100 statements and the test exercises that you have conducted is 87, therefore you'll be getting a statement coverage of 87%. And moving on, branch coverage. Branch coverage is also known as decision coverage or edge coverage. So decision coverage, here in this branch coverage, you'll be covering all of the branches that exist in the code. What we did in statement coverage, we'll be covering all the nodes, but here we'll be covering all the branches. So like if a oh my god, if a code has true or false statements, in branch coverage we'll be going through both the true path as well as the false path. That gives us 100% branch coverage. If you're missing any one of the path that exists in your code, then you will never be getting 100% branch coverage. So it is harder to achieve. Branch coverage is actually harder to achieve than statement coverage. Why? Because you will have to go through each and every path that you have put in the code. Statement coverage, you'll just have to go through all of the nodes that exist in the code. It's achieved. Branch coverage is achieved if every true and every false branch in the code has been taken by the test suite. So what's the criterion? At any branch point, each branch must be covered during text execution. So you'll have to ensure that each branch in your code must be tested. Like they must be executed. They have to be covered. So there's like, either the true or false branch that exists in a two-way if statement, or maybe in a switch statement. In a switch statement, if you say switch 1, switch 2, so you'll be giving different branches over there. So if it's a 1, you'll be getting something, and if it's 2, you'll be getting something else. So even in a switch statement, you will have to be covering all of them. And find paths that cover all the branches. We'll have to find the path that covers all the branches. Even in statement coverage, I actually had mentioned that it find paths. No, actually we have to find the paths that cover all the statements. So we even have to choose input data that will result in the the desired path that you want the code to run on. So branch coverage necessarily includes statement coverage. Yeah, because in branch coverage, in statement coverage we ran through a particular branch, means so even in branch coverage there's a possibility that it is happening. So taking the same example, as I said, in branch coverage we should cover both the branches, the true branch and the false branch. So but we can run two test cases to get a branch coverage of 100% for this code over here. So one test case is having everything else true, which means it follows a path 1A, 2C, 3D, E, 4G, 5H. So it has covered the edges A, C, D, E, G, H. And now we should move to the other side, because if we don't move to the other side, we won't be getting 100% branch coverage. So if we give an input that makes the code to run on a false path, then we'll be getting 1A, 2B, E, 4F, and that's the end. So it has covered the edges B, A, and F on the other path. So which means here we can say that we'll be getting a branch coverage of 2, since we followed two paths. Moving on. So the same example, this is the same example that we took for statement coverage, please remember. And even over here we have took the same example, to have, a kind of a comparison, sorry, the word is comparison between branch coverage and statement coverage. So same example and with the same two test cases. So here you can see that we have followed the path 1 to exit previously and even here, and path 2 is 1 2 3 4 5 7 8, and again 2 3 4 5 7 8, and again 2, and then it exits. So what's the problem over here? It never followed the branch of 4 that has false. Okay, now we are talking about a branch, not the node. Okay, so it never covered this branch of the 4 which says false. We always gave the input such that the code always run on true. We never gave the input that shows it makes it follow into the false statement, which means we won't be getting 100% branch coverage, since it never ran through all of the possible paths. And here they have given the possible inputs. So for this code over here, if you give these inputs, then it will run on both the paths. So yeah, You can see that they have given two parts over here clearly: 1 2 4 5 7. Okay, 1 2 4 5 7, or 1 3 4 6 7. Anyhow, we'll be covering each and every part of the code over here. We even run through both of the branches, all the branches that exist in the code. If we give these two outputs, so we'll be getting a branch coverage of 100%. And this is how you'll be calculating the branch coverage: number of decision outcomes you have exercised by total number of decision outcomes into 100. So if a program, okay, if a program has 80 decision outcomes and you have test exercised how many, 40 outcomes, then you'll be getting a branch coverage of 50%. Why? 40 by 80 into 100, which means 1 by 2, 50. 50% branch coverage. Thank you all for taking time to listen to this. Thank you.